Hey guys, today I am here with Valerie Smith, and she's going to tell you a little bit about her story and how she got to where she is today. I'm excited for you guys to hear from her. So, Valerie, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right. I'm doing okay. So, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and then kind of what got you where you are today?
Sure. So, hello, I'm Valerie Smith. I'm an acoustical consultant at Salter, which is a consulting firm on the West Coast. We have offices in the Bay Area, Hawaii, and welcome to our Seattle office, which I opened last year. So, Salter is an acoustical and low voltage technology consulting firm. We help our clients, usually architects, developers, contractors, solve their problems, whether they be related to noise, audiovisual, telecommunications, or even those little key fobs that you use to get into. I'm an acoustical engineer. I tend to focus on the noise problems. I describe my job as making loud things quiet, whether it be noise from trains in your new apartment building or reducing the noise in your new classroom that's nice and echoey.
So, can you tell us a little bit about your high school experience and kind of what led you on this journey?
So I went to tech for my first 2 years, but actually I knew I wanted to be an engineer back in middle school. I went to Harshman right down the road, and they used to participate in a minority engineering program with the University of Notre Dame. And we would meet up, once a month to build something really cool or do a cool experiment. And I loved math and science at the time, and I was like, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to be an engineer. So I thought I wanted to go to Notre Dame, but my junior year of high school, I realized Notre Dame is a bit on the pricier side, and that was not feasible. So I looked around, and thankfully we have a great engineering school right down the road at Purdue. So I applied to be a Boilermaker, where I went to school, class of '09. And thankfully, I went to Purdue. They have all the normal engineering majors, your mechanical engineering, your electrical engineering, but they also have this really cool multidisciplinary engineering program where you make up your own major. So I decided I wanted to be an acoustical engineer. I liked sound, I like architecture, I was in the band at Tech. It worked out really well. I took a mix of mechanical engineering classes and physics classes, some electrical engineering, and some sound design and some noise and vibration. And I came out of it with a Bachelor of Science in Acoustical Engineering, is the short form, at least. So I graduated in '09, which was the last recession. So I ended up taking a job in Portland, working for a really small acoustical consulting firm. They were primarily doing mine and quarry work. So people were digging new mines and quarries to make concrete. They're really, really loud. How do we make them quieter? So I spent a few years in Portland before moving down to the Bay Area at Salter. Kind of how I ended up here. Just started at Harshman.
So, as an acoustical engineer, obviously during the pandemic times, your work probably looks different right now. But during these days, and maybe even before that, kind of what does your work look like on a day-to-day basis?
To be honest, I love my job because every day is different. Right now in COVID times, I do spend a lot of time on Zoom meetings, just instead of doing face-to-face meetings. And I don't do as many visits out to the site, just trying to keep our distance. But back in the normal days, every day could be different in a week. Like Monday, I could be out measuring, say a school wanted to refurbish their music hall. And they were like, it's too reverberant, it's too echoey. We like it drier. That's what our new music teacher wants. So we could go out and do measurements and work on predictions for, hey, this is how you make it better. Tuesday, you could be doing face-to-face interactions with clients. Like, hey, you've got a new project. Here's how we can help. Here's services. Here's what we've done in the past in your situation. Sort of face-to-face meeting with clients. Maybe Wednesday or Thursday, we'll be doing heads down work. We do a lot of math, part of our job. But I also like to use a lot of fun modeling programs. So I do some acoustical modeling, whether it's from highways over to a new residence or like, hey, we're building a brand new office building. How do we keep Jason in the far corner from hearing what Eric in this corner is saying? How do we make it quieter? We do a lot of heads down work and a lot of coordinating with colleagues to make sure things are just moving as we keep going. Or maybe we'd go doing a sidewalk. Maybe Friday we'd be traveling down to LA. Got a, hey, a new 20-story building. Let's walk the site. Check out the contractor's work. Are they building the walls so there's a separation? Is the mechanical equipment isolated from the structure? What are they doing? So really, every day is different. And in between all of that, there's, conference calls, meetings, lots and lots of writing.
One of the things that I'm always trying to do is to help my students to find ways to explore their interests before they go to a spendy college and realize that maybe it's not what they want to do, or to validate that they have chosen the career path that they're on the right track for. So what sorts of opportunities are you aware of that high school students should be taking advantage of to kind of grow themselves as professionals, whether that's as an extracurricular activity or internships or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely extracurricular activities are very helpful. You think maybe engineering is a path for you and you want to be involved with something like the Rube Goldberg project I remember we did when I was at Tech. And actually, if you want to continue farther, Purdue has I would say a national competition that you can go and you can attend and just check it out, see what's going on. You find it fascinating that all these, different steps are just to do one small maneuver. But overall, it's really just finding something you're interested in. If you're interested in audio, there's a couple of societies that you can learn to build loudspeakers. Maybe you don't necessarily have all those opportunities as a high school student, but there are people in the community that do these jobs. Indianapolis actually is great. You've got, say, Harman is there as well as 3Ms. There are tons of people in the field. You could always reach out. Hey, I'm an interested high school student. Most people are happy to talk for a couple minutes, or the internship opportunity is there, you can work on it. Back when I was in college, I worked with Orlex Acoustics in Indianapolis, and I remember we had a high school intern is there. So there are internship opportunities available as a high school student, fewer and farther between, but most professionals are happy to just talk about what they do, try to get new young people involved. If there are any organizations at Tech that align with your interests, like 3D printing or any of that, just staying involved with those, asking lots of questions.
So if you were put in front of a group of, 200 students at Tech and you were given a microphone and they just said, talk to these kids, what sort of advice would you give them about kind of furthering themselves?
Obviously, if you're looking for a career in engineering, you want to focus on math and science. That's a great starting point. But I just want to remind you that you can always think outside of the box. It's not just standard engineering practices you've heard of. There's so many more that you can explore. So if you're thinking, oh, I don't want to be a mechanical engineer, I don't care about cars. Well, mechanical engineering can be a lot more than that. What about the people that work on mechanics for roller coasters, HVAC? There's so many different applications for each engineering field. So find something you think you like, but be willing to change. I went to Purdue thinking I wanted to be an electrical engineer, realized that wasn't my ideal. I much prefer acoustics. Yeah, just keep asking questions.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it. And if you're one of my students and you're watching this video and you'd like to ask a question to Valerie or to a future engineer or a person who has done work with engineering, let me know and I'm happy to make the connection for you. If there's a particular discipline of engineer that you would like for me to talk to somebody that works in that field, please let me know that as well. I'll see you guys next time.